We're going to do the joiner today. We're going to talk about the safety and the uses of the joiner. All of the joiners that we have carbide heads on them, and Pat's going to zoom in and take a look at the head. And very good arrangements. They cut wood really well, way better than just regular steel blades. So that's all of our joiners in here right now, all carbide heads. Safety guards in place, safety glasses are on. Normally I would turn the dust extractor on to keep the dust from going in the room, and that would be this. But just so you can hear me, we're not going to have that running today. First thing we're going to do, and this is important, is we're going to make sure that we don't have any loose clothing or anything that can get stuck in anything. So we don't have any of that, we're good that way. We could do hearing protection, which I highly recommend as well. Something simple that you can wear around your neck, like that. I'd highly recommend that for any time you're using the joiner for a prolonged length of time. Joining the lumber, and you need to look at the wood first so you know what to expect from the joiner. This piece of wood has a slight bow this way. This would be the face, this would be the edge. Generally, it's the wider is the face, the skinnier is the edge. So we're going to lay it down like that, and we're going to pass it over the joiner blades. I'm going to put my left foot just about even with the cutter head blade as I pass it across the blade. And that's really important. A lot of people get so into pushing down, they forget the idea is to push through and over the blade. Sounded consistent, it sounded like it would be done. One thing I want to make sure you do is, especially as the pieces get thinner, more like 4/4 wood, is you use a push stick. This push stick will grab the edge of the wood and help you push it through and again not down. We're going to make one more pass and then we should be done. As we made the pass, it sounded consistent. It sounded done. It generally is. You don't have to constantly be checking your wood. You don't have to make a pass and then check and look at it. Make a pass, check and look at it. One pass that sounds consistent all the way through and you should be done. If you do more than 3 passes on the joiner, you're probably doing something wrong. Ask for help. Now we're going to edge join it. So that means I'm going to use the fence. So before I use the fence, I'm going to always check it for square. And I'm going to check it for square on the out feet table and make sure I'm not seeing any daylight. And that looks pretty good. Check it on the out feet table, not the in feet table. When you're using the joiner, all of your pressure and all of your focus is on the out feet table. The in feet table is just a guide to help you get going where you want to go. So when I was face joining, I'm putting my pressure on the out feet table. Now that I'm edge joining, I'm going to be putting pressure down on the out feet table and the fence, and that's always going to be on the out feet side. Doing an edge, I can make a deeper cut because I'm not taking off as much wood. So I'm going to make it lower a little bit, take a wider cut or a deeper cut, deeper pass. Take a look at what I've got. I've got a board that's kind of bowed. It's important to notice that right here where I flipped the board over, I've kept the jointed face up against the fence. You absolutely need to keep the face that you jointed up against the fence, the face that you know is flat. You'll notice that when I make these cuts that my feet are moving very little. The less I move my feet, the less shuffling around I do, the better my cuts will be. Even on longer boards, try to minimize the number of times you actually have to move your feet. One of the processes in woodworking that you will learn is four-squaring. This video is not talking about the process of four-squaring, trying to get basic joiner safety and use down. Pushing through the cut and then I'm not pushing down. Again, my focus on the out feet table. It sounded pretty consistent, sounded pretty good. Just to make sure, I'm going to make one more pass. As your boards get thinner or narrower or shorter, they have the possibility of getting stuff in the blade and kicking back. Our minimum length for a board of joining it is 12 inches. When we were doing the face joint, we were facing it, If a board is too thin, there's no way with just your hands to push it over there safely. So once it gets down below about 1/4 of an inch, you need to figure out another way to do it. So the minimum that way is about 1/4 of an inch. I think that's it.